Hey guys, welcome to Just the Tip. This is episode 5 and this is all about detailing business. Every week I get this one question. It's by far the most common question for the last 3 or 4 years at least. And it's people looking to get into detailing business. Either someone is working at a car dealership or for a mechanic as a detailer and is looking to start his own business, or someone who's not in the automotive space at all and is looking into getting into detailing. Because it seems like a cool job and seems like a good way to make money. I disagree with both of those things. I think my job is good, and I tell people my job is good, which probably gives people the wrong impression. I am so appreciative to have a very good job. It's taken me 23 years to get here, to find my niche, and I did most of that at a time when the detailing business in this country was being pioneered. A lot of people say, you're very negative, Damian. Every time we hear you offer advice for detailing business, it's always negative. You're always telling people not to get into the business. What gives? I also think it's beneficial for me to create a video and point people with this question to that video rather than go through the motions with every single person that comes through 50 times a year. Usually what happens is that person comes in and we do a back of the envelope calculation of what it's going to cost them to get into business, and then some more calculations regarding the maintaining and running that business and growing that business. And when I do that, there's always a much clearer understanding of my initial advice, which seemed negative. Once you understand all the details, when I go into them, it's easier to understand, in my opinion, it's easier to understand why I don't give the advice to get into a detailing business now. Back in the 90s, getting into detailing was a lot easier, and anyone could almost do it. It didn't have the incredibly high standard that it has now. You as a customer, you do get very, very, very high quality detailing now, and the pricing has changed significantly, and it's not in line with inflation either, but it is absolutely fair in my opinion. And when we start to break down some figures, you'll understand why, because a lot of customers do think that it's very pricey, and I agree that it's not cheap. Good detailing is not cheap, not in Australia anyway, especially in Melbourne and Sydney. However, it is normally fair pricing provided you're getting quality. For instance, final inspection, and we won't use other companies or talk about other businesses because that's unfair. Final inspection delivers very, very high quality services at a very, very fair price. Some people don't agree that that's true, but I'll explain why. A typical day for final inspection is a new car detail. This has dropped in price from $950 to $750. I think that was about 6 months ago. This is inclusive of GST. This is something people trip up on and can catch them out. Now this takes us 1 day to complete. So this figure here for final inspection detailing is the total income for a day's work. And you say, yes, but you have more expensive services, and that's true. The next service up is $1,500, but that takes 2 days. So per day, you're still at $750. Now out of that $750, you have to give the government immediately off the top $75. This is the Johnny Howard tax. Now most cars that come in here, we do a photo shoot, just a really simple one. Now we own Bespoke Imaging and we contract Bespoke Imaging to do the job, but you still have to allow for this cost. And $75 is very reasonable for that. If you say, well, you don't have to do a photo shoot for every customer, we'll come back to why you need to do this later. So you're left with $600, and $600 for a day's work for a car cleaner, it's very decent money. And when you times that by the 5 days a week you're going to do those jobs, that's $3K. That's not too bad. $3K for the week. You then multiply this by 52 weeks of the year, and you have roughly $150,000. $150,000 total turnover per year for a detailing business. Grab that $150,000 figure. So far, all we've deducted was GST and a photo shoot. I think they were very, very simple numbers that we could get straight off the top. Now you're going to remove $75,000 for that. That's a wage for one person. This assumes that you want to make a decent wage. That's a decent wage. It's It's not shabby, but it's not the highest wage. But you have to pay yourself a wage. You have to make sure that if you're running a business that you pay yourself a wage first and then the company makes a profit. Otherwise, it's just a glorified job and you may as well go out and get a job and not take any of the risk or responsibilities of running a business. If you don't understand that, don't get into business. That's a really bad mistake. Your total turnover is not your wage. So you're at 75K. Now, if your final inspection, you have to deduct 50K off this because we've got a workshop. This is what allows us to make this turnover because we've got excellent facilities. Those facilities are going to cost you, and I'm not exaggerating, at least 50K. 50K is good. So automatically you're down to 25K in profit. Still good. 25 grand a year after you made your 75K wage, not too bad. Unfortunately, we've still got some more costs. So out of this, you're going to have an absolute minimum of $5,000 in materials. Just remember, all your costs will grow with your turnover. Off this, take at least another 5K for utilities, another 5K for insurance, another 5K for a website, hosting for emails and whatnot. Your merchant facilities, etc. Here you have 20K, 25 minus 20, it's nice and easy. You have 5K profit, but that's okay. You made a $75,000 wage and you've got 5K profit. Shouldn't look at it this way, but it's $80,000 a year. That's not too bad. The problem is, if you're not final inspection and you're new, are you going to be doing 5 new cars, 1 each day of the week? And are you going to be able to charge what final inspection charges? And the answer is no. You're going to be doing half that, and you should plan to do half that. You should plan for the worst case scenario before, for God's sakes, before you leave your job and you attempt to do what I do, which I've been doing for 23 years, and attempt to charge what I charge. Please understand that you might be turning over a third of what we're turning over for at least the first 3 years. Let's assume you're going to do half our turnover and you're going to bring in 75K for the first 3 years. You're going to pay yourself a not so good, but still okay, 50K wage. That leaves you with 25K. And you're going to have the 20K that we explained in costs. You're now making a $50,000 wage and your business is profiting $5,000 a year. This unfortunately still assumes that you're going to get 5 jobs at half the price of what final inspection charges each day, each and every day of 52 weeks of the year, which is probably also not going to happen. So you would have to divide this by 2 again, and this is realistic. Also, you still unfortunately haven't accounted for a recession, which we're probably in now. If we're not, we're due for one soon. A pandemic, which nobody ever thinks of, but they happen. Just stuff happens, stuff gets in the way, and you need this to be able to chew into. And unfortunately, the market doesn't allow you to make this because it's saturated, as I've been saying for years, and you've got people like me that you have to compete with, which can do a very, very high quality job in a very, very efficient way because we've been doing it for a very, very long time. It's just tough going. Yes, you can do it. You can get into this industry and you can try to be better than me and try to work out what I've done and make it even more efficient again. It's probably something I haven't seen or worked out yet. I keep learning new things every day. But let's be honest, it's going to be very, very tough going. And whether I'm right or wrong, this is how I form the opinion that I give to you, which is my honest opinion. When people come to me and they say, you're negative and you're being negative because you don't want a competitor, that's not really true. When people come to me and say, I'm opening up a new detailing business, what they are saying to me is, here's a check. I need you to set me up with everything I need for that business. So I have an incentive to tell you the opposite of what I am, which is to go into business and buy $5,000 worth of chemicals and materials and polish and pads and cloths and things off me so you can start that business. When I tell you, when I see that kid come in with his uncle and it's his uncle who's financing it, and I tell you, have you thought properly about this? And I do the back of the envelope figures that they've just done now. That's me honestly telling you that it probably isn't the best thing for you to do. Run it on a weekend as a side hustle. Sure, maybe dip your feet in the water, but don't quit your job. Just try it, see how you go. Running it on the weekend doesn't work either. A lot of customers will come to me and they say, I saw this guy, he does it from his home on the weekend, or he comes out in a little car or something like that. But he's asking roughly what you're asking. Why would I bring my car to a nobody who's working out of a car, who could disappear next week, when I can bring it to someone who will be there if I have issues in a few months, or 6 months, or 2 years, or 5 years. Final inspection will be here in a couple of years. If that paint protection happens to do funny things and dissolves paint or something like that, that's what they want. They want to know that there's confidence there. And the customers that you're probably looking for with $150, $250, $500, $750,000 cars, they're not going to go to your garage on the weekend and have no recourse if something goes wrong. They're going to come to a guy who's been doing this for a long time. It's going to be tough. So I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be realistic about the situation. I also want this industry to be full of people who are keen and serious, in it for the long haul and doing things properly. I don't want people to get into it, then fire sell products and undercut us and just do all the things that they do when they're desperate and running the business out to the very, very end, which brings the industry down. So that's it, really quick and easy. I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to be realistic. I don't want to give anyone the impression that this is a lucrative industry to jump into, because it's just not. It's still very hard work. I hope it's helped anyway. I hope this was just interesting, and if you were going to dive into this and for some reason one of the things I mentioned you didn't think about, I hope it's been good for you. I hope it's been something to think about, something to put into your business model, so you can maybe take a second look at it, or perhaps stop yourself from making a big mistake. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.